right, it's that time again.
Thankfully, we've moved on to better times. And
Late night crypto talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Let's see, who do we have on? We've got Bethany Gibbs, Greg Thurman, Nancy, Bethany, Angela Payne, Jeff Weinberger, Elizabeth, Lashana, Mafus, Wisdom, Mr. Gardner, Mr. Thomas. Beautiful day today in LA. One more day left for you guys that's looking out there for a job till it's Friday. Hope you had a good, productive day today. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be dispensing financial advice. I read the news, share my opinion, give suggestions, and it is up to you to decide what to do with that information. And Bethany, that is called June Gloom. June Gloom. 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. Number 1, education is the key. It's the key to everything. Number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. Because after that, you're just playing with house money. And number 4, where do you want to be financially in crypto within the next 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What vehicle are you using to make that happen in? Take action, stay focused, and don't get distracted. The crypto industry is so big. It encompasses everything. And you can't be a part of everything. So that means you'll have to turn down great opportunities. But you're dealing with limited resources, so keep that in mind. Now, none of this is going to guarantee that you're going to have success, but it will at least limit your risk. And that's the best that you can ask for. All right, let's go ahead and cover a couple articles here before my presentation tonight at the top of the hour. First up, Tether. Tether has been in the news the last couple of weeks because they've been accused of market manipulation on the crypto market, which I disagree with. And I find it interesting, the people writing up about that, I don't think they've ever had any skin in the game. They understand how Tether is worked. They're focusing on Tether's claim that is tied to the USD. But the people who use Tether can care less. We use it as a safe haven in a crypto storm. If we see the markets starting to dive, we will dump our Bitcoin or whatever crypto into Tether so that it will maintain value. When we feel that the crypto space has hit the bottom and about to come back up, we take it out of Tether and put it back in the coins. It's almost a form of buying, selling, but we're not selling it to anybody. I made a lot of money doing that, and I still do. So you'll notice whenever the market seems to be in the green across the board, Tether is a little bit in the red. When you see the market to be in the red, Tether is in the green. There's a reason for that. Anyways, let's see what this article has to say. Tether fully backed by USD, law firm's unofficial statement. Tether clears the air about the questions that were asked about its physical backing of US dollars by giving full online access to its bank accounts to a legal firm. Oh, that's interesting. That's a first. Tether, which is cryptocurrency's first and most famous stablecoin, got the approval of the backing from the legal firm Free, Sporkin and Sullivan LLP. That there is, it's called FSS, that there is in fact $2.55 billion in their bank accounts. That's a boss move right there. They're like, oh, You don't think we have any money? Here's my bank account. 2.5 billion. The cryptocurrency community classified Tether as phony and controversial given its claim of backing each token to $1. However, this report will have to make many bite their tongues. Yeah, they just dropped the mic on that one. The transparency update that was reported by FSS includes a member that's a former FBI director. Really? I mean, nobody needs to say anything. See, I was right. I like saying I was right. I was right. The transparency update, yeah, a former FBI director, FSS claimed that the review of the accounts was done on June 1st, with no awareness of when it was conducted by the company, so that no prior arrangements would be made. The holdings are in two different banks, both being unnamed. However, reports show that one might be Puerto Rico's Noble Bank. As part of the engagement, FSS was able to confirm the US dollar balances and accounts owned or controlled by Tether at its banks, including selecting the appropriate confirmation dates and reporting to Tether as to the results of each of such inquiries. As per the letter of engagement, FSS selected the dates for balance confirmations without prior notice to or consultation with Tether. FSS is confident that Tether's unencumbered assets exceed the balance of fully backed USD Tethers in circulation as of June 1st, 2018. That is huge. I actually want to look. Let me go to the coin market cap real quick. I need to invest more in I don't invest in Tether. I just use it as because it's a stable coin. It's not going to go up in value. So let's see, $2.6 billion market cap. And circulating supply is 2.6 billion. 2.607 billion circulating supply, 2.610 billion is the market cap. And the law firm states that they have 2.5 billion in their bank accounts. I mean, dang, that's a boss move right there. So last week, the University of Texas, and remember that? I read this last week about the nerds at University of Texas that have absolutely no skin in the game. They probably never purchased a coin ever, and they're looking at stupid numbers and data and trying to come up with a conclusion based on that. The one thing that they're missing is a human element in it. Like I said, if you have skin in the game, if you do this and you have a strategy, you know what people use Tether for. Nobody is investing in Tether because they think it's going to go up in value or anything. They use it like the stock market people use gold and real estate whenever the stock market's starting to act crazy. All right. Last week, the University of Texas published a hard-hitting paper reporting USDT, which is Tether's coin, to have been used to manipulate Bitcoin's price in last year's record-breaking bull run. The university's paper also stated that USD does not fully back it. Wrong. You see here, this is why education is important, ladies and gentlemen. Just because some professors and PhD and master degree clowns from a university write a report doesn't mean they're correct. When I read that article, I knew they were wrong. I said, this is not right. This is false. And now we've got a law firm that has a former director of the FBI on its board that conducted this investigation, and they proved that Tether is correct and that University of Texas is wrong. The reason why you want to be educated is so that you can be able to make this information in right choices yourself when approached with information like this. You'll be able to see through it, you'll be able to verify it or confirm it or deny it. So you won't be a sheep following just what somebody says because they're so-called an expert. And that includes me, because I'm not always correct. I don't know everything. I'm not always right. You might know something that I don't know. You might have heard or seen something that I haven't seen yet. You might have information that I haven't seen yet. So this is why education is so important. All right, Tether stuck to its word of ensuring that a definite answer will be given soon. To address allegations head on, we wish to make a few things clear. All tethers in circulation are fully backed by USD reserves. Full stop. Memoranda, consulting reports, industry leaders, cryptocurrency pioneers, and competitors have all confirmed this. Well, we're going to listen to the people from University of Texas. Reserves has always and will always match the number of tethers in circulation, Tether said after the critical paper. The only drawback to this whole assessment is the fact that it is not a formal audit. Oh, here we go. We're going to play semantics on this. The bottom line is an audit cannot be obtained. The big four firms are anathema to that level of risk. We've gone for what we think is the next best thing, Stuart Hogner, Tether's general counsel, told Bloomberg. With many accounting firms not ready to perform a formal audit, the critics have to trust FSS's report. This is who the people behind Tether. I mean, this is smart. Think about it. If you had access to like $2 or $3 billion, right, in a bank account, you create your own stable coin, digital coin, put it up on the market so people can use the same way they're using Tether. But you're earning a piece of every single transaction. Every time somebody does a trade into Tether, you're getting microtransactions for every trade that comes in and that goes out. These guys are making a freaking killing. The catch is they needed to have at least $2 billion in a bank to back all this up. That's the catch. And then they could put their coins out there and say it will always be tied to the amount of money we've got in a bank account. That is hella smart. The people behind Tether, wow. Wow, it's like a light bulb went off in my head, and then it reminded me I don't have $1 billion in the bank. I can't. I can't pull the same thing. Wow, that is very smart. All right, I'm impressed. I learned something new. Next article up. Renowned geopolitical analyst says blockchains will be decrypted eventually. And yes, at the same time, I believe the same technology that's going to be able to decrypt blockchain will also be used to make it even more secure. So let's keep that in mind. I'm going to read this article and see if they even mention that. They're talking about quantum computing. George Friedman has recently shared some very negative thoughts on the blockchain and its future. Regardless, he recognizes its current value. In a recent interview with CNBC, George Friedman, a worldwide known geopolitical analyst, has allegedly said that the blockchain will become obsolete. Really? During the UBS CIO Global Forum in New York, he shared, "I've never known any encryption technology not to be broken." Yeah, that's why the Pentagon is instituting blockchain right now. He believes the technology will eventually be decrypted, pointing at the US, Russia, and China as the most likely candidates. The analyst isn't necessarily against the technology, though he acknowledged he sees its usefulness, but it will come a day when it will be old news. Is the internet old news yet? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's new technology. Is that old news yet? Friedman expressed the blockchain fever will pass, saying it's one of those hypes. Okay, this is... While I'm doing, hold on, I gotta pull up a quote first before I read this quote. And we're gonna read these two quotes back to back. And then I'm gonna ask you guys to tell me, who do you believe? Alright, so give me a second. I gotta go back in my history. I'm on a different computer, so it's not saved on this computer. Let's see. And this is something I should memorize. Well, was it that long ago I posted that quote? Before Father's Day? Let's see. Da, da, da. That was U.S. Securities Exchange Commission. Good grief, how far back is it? Here we go. All right. I'm going to read this guy's quote, and then I'm going to read another guy's quote. He says, blockchain fever will pass. It is one of those hypes. People are profiting from it, making extraordinary claims about it. $9 billion have been reportedly invested in cryptocurrency projects supporting his claim. Okay? He calls it hype. All right? Now, let me read to you this quote. Virtual currencies and blockchain will become part of the economic practices of any country, anywhere. Let me repeat that. These currencies are not going away, and they will proliferate to every economy and every part of the planet. Some places, small economies, may become dependent on virtual assets for survival, and these currencies will be outside traditional monetary intermediaries like government, banks, investors, ministries, or international organizations. We are witnessing a technological revolution. Perhaps we are witnessing a modern miracle. And you know who said that? CFTC Chairman Rostin Binham. So who do we listen to? The CFTC Chairman or world-renowned geopolitical analyst George Friedman, who calls it hype? Both of them are very accomplished. I'll ask you guys that. Who do you believe? Both of them have, a lot of stuff backing them, who they are. Let's see, I had another quote that I actually posted for the blockchain. Here's, thanks to smart contracts, insurance policies have become automated. Conditions and terms are input into the smart contract, and whenever they are triggered, the claims are processed immediately. But if you don't know any better, you're going to listen to this guy, because like my father, my dad, anytime there's a negative article about, he's concerned because he thinks anytime he hears Bitcoin collapse that I'm going broke. I said, no, Dad, I'm not going broke. But if you don't have any education, you listen to these clowns, and it's going to affect how you move forward. You might think, that's too risky. He says it's hype. I'm not going to get involved. And then you're going to end up missing out. So let's continue here. George Friedman is the founder of Geopolitical Futures, an online publication, and he's most famous for authoring The Next 100 Years, a forecast for the 21st century. Oh, he better be talking about crypto in that, or throw that book in the trash. His forecasts are usually spot on, which led the New York Times to comment at one point, there is a temptation when you are around George Friedman to treat him like a magic 8-ball. He missed the boat on this one. When did he write that book? Because if he wrote it in the beginning of the century, Bitcoin and blockchain wasn't even on the map yet. So he's predicting something that is going to completely be irrelevant. In fact, I can attest to this because there's a book I read that called The New Professional of the 21st Century. And I went back and skimmed through that book, and there's not one thing about digital currency or worldwide currency. And they're predicting the next 100 years. You can't predict the next 10 years at the rate things are going. Who would have thought Alibaba would become the largest IPO in the United States and is not even an American company, it's from China. Who saw that coming? Who saw Amazon that within 10 years would have the world's richest, well, maybe 20 years will have the world's richest man? Who saw that coming? Who saw Facebook coming? Nobody saw that. Who saw YouTube? Who saw Netflix? Blockbuster certainly didn't. So, be careful about these future forecasters that wrote books, didn't say nothing about crypto, and so now they gotta be negative about crypto to back up their claims in their book. Instead of, just go ahead, George, and say, you know what? It's time for me to amend my last book. I need to rewrite it because I can already tell the future has shifted and changed course. We're dealing with technology here that is going to disrupt every industry on the planet. Let me write a new book. You know how much more money he'd make and respect he'd be given if he says that? But guys like this sometimes, they can't admit to being wrong. They'd rather spin everything to make what they believe to be correct. And he's going to turn around and be like, wow, I was on the wrong side of history on this one. So that said, Friedman is a geopolitical forecaster and a strategist on international affairs. From his statement, we can consider he's mostly concerned with the security of the network. He said it himself, the value of blockchain was visible. Such praise coming from a modern-day Nostradamus should bring hope to the community, not despair. Okay, at least he admits that part. If we assume his knowledge of computer science isn't sufficient enough to understand the intricacies of the blockchain, we can take his word with a grain of salt. However, Friedman was reportedly an early designer of computer war games, though he later graduated in political science, like I did, so he might not be that far off. His concern echoes that the general population, how can data be secure when it's spread across thousands, if not millions of computers around the world, is not a... Let me continue. While that may be a legitimate concern as blockchains get recognized and its adoption increases, so does the difficulty of hacking them. He just answered his own question. If the data is spread across thousands, if not millions of computers, then somebody would need to hack every single one. Do you know what type of computer power that takes? None that exists. In the end, Friedman may be correct. We have seen several examples throughout history of unhackable things being taken down. Yeah, that's true. You can't say never. I mean, the unsinkable Molly Brown, the Titanic, the ship that can never sink. Yeah, we saw what happened there. Regardless, if we consider how he said the technology would become obsolete, that could just mean something else, something better, could replace it. Well, he didn't say that. So now you're just assuming. He's just saying it'll become obsolete. And I say to that, because since it wasn't even mentioned, quantum computing in this article, that the technology that will be, and it will, that will be available in the future that can crack Bitcoin and hack the blockchain will also be the same technology that's going to secure it even better than it is right now. You think these nerds that's writing the blockchain and mining and all that stuff, the Bitcoin core group, the guys you see at these blockchain expos, you don't think they're not thinking about this and already coming up with ways? Same with the Pentagon. So that I am not concerned about. And the last article, before I got to do my presentation, Bitcoin makes historic first appearance in U.S. Supreme Court. Oh. In a U.S. Supreme Court opinion. Hold on, let me plug in my phone so this doesn't... I don't get cut off. Thank you, Bethany. And copy. Bethany, as much of these Facebook Lives you've been listening to, you'll be an ultimate expert by the end of the summer. You know this stuff. All right. Thursday marked a historic day for Bitcoin. Every day it seems like there's something historic taking place. There's not a, I can't, if I miss a day, I'm behind. I'm really behind if I miss a day. So today marked a historic day for Bitcoin, as the flagship cryptocurrency made its first appearance in an opinion published by the U.S. Supreme Court. The case, Wisconsin Central Ltd. versus United States. It did not involve Bitcoin's regulatory or legal status. See, this is something that's going to be in the law books soon. Like if you're in school, it's going to be in the law books. Precedents being set. Rather, it examined whether employee stock options represent taxable compensation under the Railroad Retirement Act, Tax Act of 1937. Interesting. An employee's stock options is taxable compensation. You know, this kind of touches a touchy subject for me. Like, I live in California. My father has worked for the same company for 43 years before he retired. Now he gets his pension for life. It is public record, so I can say it publicly. My father's pension is $297,000 a year for life. The problem, the state of California is financially inept and almost on the verge of bankruptcy. So one of their solutions to solving the bankruptcy problem of California, the financial problem, is they feel they are paying too much money in pensions to state employees. And they're trying to figure out how to cut or take away the employees' pensions. You will have a riot on your hands if you try to do some crap like that. But they're trying to. The New York Times posted, I think it was the New York Times, I got to look at that article again. A newspaper out here in LA posted an article last week that stated the top 100 pensioners in the state of California, and my father was ranked number 7. 7 out of 30 million people, he's number 7. My father is the man, all right? I have no shame in saying so. Big shoes to fill. Highest ranking African American in the United States in his field. And so they got his name right there and how much his pension is, and they're acting like they're the boogeymen. They're the reason why California's going broke. What are you talking about? The man worked for 43 years. That's his money. So anytime I see a government or an agency trying to look to ways to take away pensions, take away your savings, take away your stock options, that's just flat out wrong. Manage your budget. Manage the budget and leave the people alone. These people are taxpayers. You need them. All right, I got that off my chest. Let's continue this article. That may seem like an unlikely place for a discussion of Bitcoin to appear. However, as justices noted in both the majority and dissenting opinions, the case forced them to consider a fundamental question that has also taken on a renewed importance in the decade following the publication of the Bitcoin white paper. What is money? Oh, okay. Ultimately, the 5-4 majority ruled that employees should not be taxed, all right, for exercising stock options, since the action does not constitute money remuneration. However, writing in a dissenting opinion, of course, Justice Stephen Breyer argued for a broader understanding of money and said that stock options should be classified as taxable compensation. Why? Why should it be? Why? So he says, and deposited in the employee's account before she can enjoy its monetary value. Moreover, what we view as money has changed over time. Cowrie shells once were such a medium, but no longer are. See J. Weatherford, The History of Money. Our currency originally included gold coins and bullion, but after 1934, gold could not be used as a medium of exchange. See Gold Reserve Act of 1934. Perhaps one day employees will be paid in Bitcoin. What? He actually said this. One day, wait a minute, hold up. What have I been saying? Remember what I always say? And I'm going to say it tonight. I say, those of you who decide not to be involved, because you're only going to have two choices. Either you're going to choose to be ahead of this and profit from it, or it's going to be put upon you when one day you're going to wake up and you're going to see Bitcoin ATM machines all over the place. You're going to go into your job and they're going to say, we're now accepting Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for selling of our product. And then they're going to say, we're now going to pay you. You need to get a Bitcoin wallet because we're going to pay your salaries in Bitcoin. I've been saying that for 9 freaking months. And here we go. Supreme Court Justice Breyer. I'm going to put this quote on a freaking image that I'm going to make. He says, perhaps one day employees will be paid in Bitcoin or some other type of cryptocurrency. I'm loving this. And he quoted F. Martin Money, the unauthorized biography, from coinage to cryptocurrencies. Nothing in the statute suggests the meaning of this provision should be trapped in a monetary time warp, forever limited to those forms of money commonly used in the 1930s. I got to send this to my dad. I'm like, Dad, you remember what I've been saying all this time? Look at what the Supreme Court Justice just said. Isn't that exactly what I said? All right. Breyer's opinion, which included a citation to Money, the unauthorized biography from coinage to cryptocurrencies. I need to read that book. Or if it's a book or what. Used Bitcoin as an example of the changing nature of money and theorized that perhaps one day employees will be paid in Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency. He wrote, moreover, what we view as money has changed over time. Cowrie shells once were such a medium but no longer are. Our currency originally included gold coins and bullion, but after 1934, gold could not be used as a medium of exchange. Perhaps one day employees will be paid in Bitcoin or some other type of cryptocurrency. Nothing in the statute suggests the meaning of this provision should be trapped in a monetary time warp, forever limited to those forms of money commonly used in the 1930s. I actually agree with what he said there. I still don't like taxing our freaking stock, but I agree with that. Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan joined Breyer in his dissent. While Thursday marked the first instance of the word Bitcoin being included in a Supreme Court opinion, it's unlikely to be the last. In fact, cryptocurrency's perceived association with drug trafficking and other criminal activities could make a prominent appearance in a case whose petition is currently pending before the court. I am going to be quoting Justice Brenner. It's going to be part of our Bitcoin Boot Camp series, and I'm going to put it in the presentation. You can't get any more higher than freaking that. It's the Supreme Court. It's not my broke cousin Pookie at the barbershop. As CCN reported, Ross Ulbricht, operator of now defunct dark web marketplace Silk Road, has appealed his conviction to the Supreme Court, arguing that the government violated his 4th and 6th Amendment rights during the investigation and sentencing. He is serving a life sentence without parole. While the Supreme Court has not yet said whether it will hear Ulbricht's case, legal expert Tom Goldstein has said that there is a reasonable chance that the constitutional questions raised by Ulbricht's petition would earn a hearing from the court in an appropriate case. Yeah, I'm saving this article. And I'm patting myself on the back for this one. Supreme Court Justice Meyer just said, one day people are going to be getting paid in Bitcoin. Wow. Are you guys still sitting on the sidelines now? Yeah, I'm going to put this link in the chat box, Bethany, and then I'm going to actually make a quote out of it. So give me a second here. Unbelievable. Well, it is believable. Why am I saying unbelievable? I just like being proved right. Alright, guys. That is it for tonight. 20 minutes from now, we have our cryptogenics presentation. Like I said, education is the key. I am going to be running my mouth for the next couple of days about this. So just heads up. In fact, I'll talk about it when I do my Saturday morning crypto talk, getting my donuts. I'm going to talk about this. Anyways, you guys have a good evening. Hope you learned something new tonight. I did, just like I learned something new this morning. Education is the key. See you all in 20 minutes on www.kgxglobal.info. God bless. Good night. Bye-bye.
Cryptogenics.